What up, my dudes? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Scribbles, the owner and crocheter, artist and crocheter, and owner um, of Eclectic Scribbles. This video is pretty much going to be a recap of the Artist Alley for Heroes Con in Charlotte. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I've already filmed this video once, and it turns out that this little bad boy right here's battery died. So you've got a bunch of content with no sound. Anyways, I was busy the entire trip for Artist Alley at Heroes Con because I was solo for the entire trip. It was a disaster working my way down there. It was a little bit crazy. So I ran out of room in my SUV to take all of my stuff to and from places. So I ended up purchasing a trailer, which is here. There's my trailer. And I've never driven a trailer before. Well, I've driven it forward. I couldn't back to save my life. I couldn't back. I could only go one way. And it turns out that the loading dock for the Charlotte Convention Center is underground. Underground. Tight spaces, underground. It was a nightmare. I had backed my trailer exactly 2 times, maybe 3, successfully twice, in my own driveway with plenty of open space. And I went into an underground loading dock where they expect tractor trailers, 18-wheelers, whatever you want to call them, big boys, to come in and out of there and back into these eensy spots that are diagonal. Yeah. So the plan was for me to drive the stuff down and for my husband and his brother to ride down behind me because they were going for the weekend to go visit their father in Kentucky, and they were going on the bikes. So they were on bikes behind me for about 10 minutes before Andy's brother Terry had issues with his bike, and it just snowballed with the issues on his bike from there. So I'm like, what do? I have to load in between these 8 hours. This is the only load in that I get today. Should I turn around and come back to you? Should I continue to go forward? He's like, well, hopefully it's just this and you keep going, and we'll meet up with you in a little bit. A little bit never came. Just never did. He ended up getting his bike towed quite a ways, $180 worth, back to my house, and taking my bike to Kentucky for the weekend. So they had left out that evening. It was just a whole big old mess. Whiskey had to have surgery. One of my dogs had to have surgery on Thursday, the day that I was loading all the stuff into thing. He was in surgery, actively in surgery, and then he had to be picked up later that evening. Nobody was going to be in town the next day. They wanted to keep him overnight just for observation, but I'm like, literally nobody is going to be here. My husband's going to be in Kentucky, in a whole nother state, and I'm going to be in Charlotte at a convention, and the person watching the dog can't drive. Anyways, the other bad thing about that was that my husband had sent the cards with me, so that I could get back and pay, because we thought I was going to be back and they were going to be well on their way to Kentucky. So when it came time to make payment at the vet, when we picked the dog up, the credit cards were still with me in Charlotte. Hadn't even left Charlotte. Wasn't even close to leaving in Charlotte. And he was all the way here with none of those things. So luckily my vet is great, and they let me come in and pay first thing Monday morning. They could have taken an online payment, but I just I'll come down there and hand you cash on Monday if you don't mind, please, so that we don't have to put this on credit card. Anyway, so they did that. And I was on my own. That was the start of me being on my own. It took me twice as long, of course, to set up 2 tables as it did 1 table, and it took me even more time to set it up all by myself than to have someone with me, because of the previous 2 cons, my lovely husband has been there with me. So yes, it was a big undertaking to go from help and 1 table to no help and 2 tables and a lot more stuff. So anyways, that's the before the con. And one of the reasons that I didn't film anything is because I was, just all over the place, just running around like a chicken with its head cut off. It was a busy day. And then we went straight into Friday, and a couple of the first things that sold on Friday happened to be my little possums. These are on my Etsy and on my website, by the way. If you're not going to be at any of the in-person events and want to get your hand on a super cute little possum, I made these 2 last night, but I could not keep these things in stock. I had 6 going in, and I started crocheting more on Friday. So I was taking orders, talking to people, handling all of my booth stuff, and then just standing there and crocheting the entire time to keep up. I definitely did not bring enough to this convention, but it was all I had, considering how much I could do with my own 2 hands. So I was definitely trying to keep up. At first, I was a little concerned about where we were placed in the convention center. We were facing an art stage and nothing else. So it was just nothing. We were at the very edge of things. And so I'm like, people are just going to walk past. And some people did. They just walked down the aisle and they just kept on going. And we were on the front, in between 2 aisles. And the wall was over here. And so some people just didn't even circle back and go on that wall. They just went this way and kept going. We did catch the attention of pretty much everybody coming this way, which was good. And we also did catch the attention of pretty much every child that was in the vicinity with the plushies, which was good. And another thing that I couldn't keep in stock were the little pocket octos, or worry octos is what I call them. And the little chunky frogs, couldn't keep those in stock. Those are my 2 $5 items, and I have those there specifically for children. Because parents don't typically mind spending $5 if it keeps their little hands busy while they look at pretty art and stuff. So Friday was a typical Friday for us. It's the best Friday that we've had so far. I did one other event that had a Friday in it, and this one outdid that one. So it was better all around. It was a little bit slow, as you would expect a Friday to be, but that was good. We made back table, we made back expenses and everything on Friday. So Saturday and Sunday, it was all gravy from there, which was good. If you want an entire breakdown of my costs, expenses, and what I made and how much my profit was, jump into my Patreon. You can jump over there and get all of the behind the scenes information for $5 a month. If you also like the crochet side and you want this little pattern right here for this star plush, you can jump into the $7 tier. Which gives you an extra podcast and a digital pattern each and every month. So we ended up being in an okay spot. I did a walk around the artist alley on Sunday just to get a general idea of what was going on everywhere else, and where we were placed was pretty fitting. Pretty fitting. There were a lot of fine art artists and big time illustrative artists back on the back line, and so where we were was sort of the craftish section, which was fine, or the more kawaii section of this event. So yeah, I mean, we were in a good spot. I've actually signed up to be in the exact same spot next year because I ended up enjoying it. Saturday was berserk. It just went bonkers on Saturday. So Saturday was the best Saturday that we've had so far, by a long shot, and it went really, really well. Again, I was crocheting the entire time, trying to keep up with demand. So I have adjusted my numbers for the next convention. But it's not just the crochet side. The crochet side that went well. It's just that's the one that I had to keep up with. We did sell plenty on the art side. It was the best art side that we've had so far as well. In past, we've sold keychains, stickers, magnets, mystery bags, acrylic and enamel pins, and prints. And I've sort of switched things up for this con. So in addition to stickers and magnets, we also had, and mystery bags, we also had the prints. We had original artwork there as well. Mouse pads, 20-ounce tumblers, and 18-ounce glass cups. So we had a lot more. Oh, and the pins, did I say the pins, acrylic and enamel pins? So we had a lot more of higher value items at this one, which is exactly what I wanted to build up to. It just took me a couple of cons to get there. And so therefore people were spending more on the art side of the booth itself. And actually, you know, the pins hadn't been doing great for me in previous conventions. However, we did add 10 new acrylic pins this time, and a couple, I think 4 or 5 new enamel pins this time. And I've changed the display. I'll put a picture of the art side of the booth here. I changed the display to where they're stretched across like 3 different sections on the thing. So it was easier for people to see. It was a little less jumbled, easier for people to recognize what they were. And therefore, I think they did better. So we'll see at the next convention if that was a fluke and people just like pins at this con or what. So, but we did sell a little bit of everything. We also had canvas totes at this one. I don't think I mentioned. So we did sell a little bit of everything as far as the art stuff. So that was great as well. Sunday was a typical Sunday. It was slower than Saturday. It was busier than Friday. So we did okay on Sunday. I think we would have been a little bit better if I had more stock on the crochet side. That did dwindle down just a little bit, but that's because I'd pretty much run out of everything. The bins were, there were nine bins of up to $12 items down along the front. Here's the crochet side, and they were empty. They were empty. So, and the things up at the top, the like hooky deals or whatever, were pretty much empty, and there was a lot less to choose from. So, definitely adjusting my numbers for the next convention for sure. But yeah, I had a great time. It was a great experience. I was a little nervous. I'm like, this is sort of a comic convention, like all comic all the time. Not a bunch of celebrity guests, not a bunch of nothing. It's comic books. And I had that drilled into my head, and I thought, you know, we're not going to fit in. We're just not going to fit in. We're going to stand out like sore thumbs, and I've made a mistake. But it turns out we didn't. There were all kinds of genres there, and there were all, you know, there were several, like 20-ish maybe, sort of smaller, not necessarily smaller, but kawaii style people there, makers there. There were some crafters, there were people making tumblers, there were, you know, a little bit of everything, dice makers there. So I mean, we didn't stand out like we didn't belong, and that was my fear. So fear averted. Like I said, I've already scheduled for the same table next year. It was just a great experience. Loved it. 3-day con. Now I know I can get my stinking self and the trailer in and out of that place okay-ish. And by next year, this time, I'll have a lot more practice back in that damn thing. So hopefully by next year, I'll be a freaking pro at underground parking. Probably not, but we're gonna say that I am anyways. So again, because I was on my own, I filmed literally nothing, and I'm so sorry for that this is just an Artist Alley recap and you don't get none of the behind the scenes action, but your girl was pretty much tripping the whole weekend. Like, what is even going on? And my hands were so busy the entire weekend that I took this entire week off of crocheting. I'm like, dude, my crojo is gone. I am crocheted out from 3 constant days of just crochet and nothing else really. But last night we picked back up, got some makes on the way, and I'm going to start restocking for the next convention, which is going to be Fairfax Comic Con in Fairfax, Virginia on August 26th and 27th. And then I will be at, where will I be? I don't know where I'm going to be. Oh, I will be at Beer City Comic Con on September 30th and October 1st. This is a first year event in Asheville, North Carolina. No, not in Asheville. At Harrah's. It is in Asheville. Harrah's Cherokee. We will be at Harrah's Cherokee September 30th, October 1st, and then sometime mid-October, I am planning to be at Fayetteville Comic Con, the fall event, which is another three-day event. I don't know if the dates have been released for it yet, but the admissions haven't come through on it yet either. So that will be my next to the last event for the year. I won't have another event until December 1st through the 3rd, and that is going to be GalaxyCon Columbus. So that one's going to be pretty long distance for us. Anyways, I hope you found this video helpful. I hope the recap helped. Like I said, if you want all of the breakdown of all of the numbers and all of the things, jump over onto Patreon and get those. I would love to have you. Have an amazing community over there. And right now I'm taking suggestions for shop updates and future themes for things that you would like to see in the shop. So jump over there and put your 2 cents in. And I'll see you in the next video. I love your faces so much. Thank you for making it to the end. If you made it to the end, put a green heart in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. Subscribe and ding the notification bell so you are informed each and every time I upload new content. And I'll see you in the next video. Okay, thank you. Bye.